All right, for RV and any others that are looking at lesson 14, um, the lesson begins with these two images of a square and a cube. So, a couple things to remember from stuff we had done earlier in the year is just that both squares and cubes are obviously related to each other in the fact that a cube is just a 3D square. So all of the faces are squares. So essentially, this green cube right here is made up of six different square faces. So one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the front, one on the back, one on the left, one on the right. I guess I clicked the right first, but so a total of six faces or surfaces. Doing this without a touchscreen is foolish. Next time I will definitely use a touchscreen. Six faces. And each of those are square faces. So, what other measurement of the square could we find? Well, we know the length and the width, and of course, those are the same because based on the definition of what a square is, well, it's always going to have the same length and width. And with a cube, since they're all squares, they're going to have the same length, the same width, and the same height. So we could find area when we're talking about our two-dimensional shape, which would be length times width. We'd go 3 times 3 and get an area of 9 square units. So we don't know if this is inches or centimeters or whatever. So I'm just going to call it units. And it's going to be to the second power because it is going in two directions, two dimensions. Whereas this one's going to end up in the third dimension, whatever it is, are going to be cubic units because it has a length, a width, and a height, 3 dimensions or directions, which is why it's going to be to the third power, otherwise known as units cubed to the third. Well, if this is length times width, finding the area of 9, this is going to be length times width times height, finding the volume. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again would be 27. So we'd have 27 cubic units as the volume of our three-dimensional shape there. I'm going to see if I can get out of the writing tool and scroll down. Oh, I forgot this doesn't like to. Of course it doesn't want to erase. So as I scroll down through this lesson a bit further and get some of that out of there for you. I'll get better at this, sorry. So a cube has a side length of 10 inches. Jada says the surface area of the cube is 600. I think what I'm going to do here, maybe I should draw this out. Excuse me, has a surface area of 600. Noah says it has a surface area of 3,600. Now, if we look at both of their methods, they both start off, Jada, 6 times 10 to the second. Noah, 6 times 10 to the second. They start off exactly the same. However, if you look at the next line or the next step, they do it differently here. So 10 to the second power would be 100. 6 times 10 would be 60. So it's a matter of knowing who kind of did this step right. Well, we're going to come back to the idea of the order of operations, which I know you talked about in 5th grade and we've talked about this year as well. So PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which really stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division, which those two are side by side because of the fact family relationship. They're actually equivalent step with each other. And A and S for addition and subtraction, which again are side by side because they're equivalent. They're a fact family with one another. So knowing that the order of operations starts with parentheses, well, there's no parentheses here, but exponents comes next, we actually need to figure out the exponent as our second, or really our first step in this problem. So Jada is the one who does this correctly. Noah accidentally does multiplication next, so he skipped over that exponent step. So Noah's method is incorrect. Therefore, he is not going to get the correct answer. So by Jada first doing the exponents, then going to the multiplication and multiplying 6 times 100 equals 600, we should be agreeing with Jada's method. Woo, that's a funky looking rectangle. All right, let's scroll down a bit. Oh, and this is going to come with us again. Technology's fun. All right, so we've got some expressions. Evaluate the expressions in one of the columns. Your partner, maybe your dad, could do the other one and check with your partner when you've finished. Or you could be, RV number 1 and RV number 2, and you could check with yourself. So if Bob over here did this first question and recognized, okay, I need to do exponents first, and 5 to the second really means 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is going to be 25 plus 4. Well, 25 plus 4 would give us 29. I swear I'll do this on a touchscreen next time. This is going to drive me crazy. So Bob, or RV number 1, got the first answer as 29. So Joey, or RV2, is going to come over here and go, okay, what about this one? Well, 2 to the second power, we need to do exponents before we add. 2 to the second is 2 times 2, 2 twos. So that's going to be 4. And 4 plus 25, well, if you look over here, we did 25 plus 4. Addition is commutative, meaning order doesn't matter. So we would also get 29. So the idea, if you had a partner, if we were doing this in class and you were sitting next to your shoulder partner, you would hopefully start to recognize that we should be getting the same thing on each one of these. And that way you could be checking like that you did your steps on your order of operation properly. Before I scroll down any further, let me erase all this stuff. And I'm hoping that should give you really our overall what we need to take away from this lesson, our learning target about how to handle exponents when applying them to area and volume. So thinking back to Unit 1 in those green workbooks that you got when you were just a young pup, first entering 6th grade, not really sure about this Mrs. Moore lady who was rapping weird things to you. And Jada and Noah wanted to find the total volume. Length times width times height gives us volume. A cube and a prism. They know we've got 20 units as the volume. They know the cube has a side length of 10. So it'd be 10, and it would also be 10 back. So 10 by 10 by 10 would be the volume of our cube. All right, here again we see we've got to do exponents before we do any other step because there's no parentheses, and PEMDAS, P, no parentheses, E is exponents. That's our next step. So we got to go with that next. So if we look, well, Noah worked with his exponent here before moving on. So this time, Noah's going to be the one who correctly gets this. So we like Noah's this time because he followed the order of operations correctly. And Jada, Noah, bloop, bloop, bloop. Jada and Noah wanted to find the total volume of a cube and a rectangular prism. They know the prism's volume is 20 cubic, and they know the cube has a side length of 10. Okay, so that's the cube. Is there more to this question that I'm not seeing? Because I feel like I'm missing something. Feels like they're asking us to do something, but I don't actually see the information needed. No? Okay, weird. Why are they telling us about the prism that we don't have to do anything with? Okay, I agree with Noah about the cube. I don't understand why they're telling us about a prism, but oh well. Hopefully that is enough to get you going. Let me know, first of all, if this opens and if it works, if it's helpful, and if you want me to make more of these, so that way you've got me instead of or in addition to the Mr. Morgan videos. Yeah, let me know. See you guys. Miss you. Trying to end the video. Sorry.